But let's finish this football conversation. And I like when we had Braden on and he laughed at the concept just like I laughed at it. No chance that this would ever happen. But Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk still has this belief that Lamar staying on the Ravens isn't a for sure thing. And you know what? I'm going to stop what I'm going to say because why don't we play that clip and then we're going to react to it on the other side.
It's a given Lamar Jackson's going to be back with the Ravens. We've been talking about this. We've been writing about it. Just because John Harbaugh was fired, it's not like Dan Reeves versus John Elway back in the early 90s when Pat Bowlen picked quarterback over coach. I think there's still a chance that Lamar Jackson decides it's time for a fresh start for him too. And he's got a ton of power in this situation. He's got 2 years left under contract. There's a no tag clause in his deal. So he walks away 2 years from now as a free agent if he wants to. They want to get him signed to an extension. All he has to say is, I'll take my $104 million over the next 2 years, and I'll go wherever I want. And there's a thought that he'd like to get back to Miami, and that would be a perfect time 2 years from now because that's when the $99 million in dead money charge for Tua Tagovailoa disappears from their books. But I think we just need to see what is his thought about the Ravens not hiring an offensive specialist, maybe a former head coach who was available like a Mike McDaniel, and instead going with a first-time head coach, defensive specialist who Jackson knows because he was in Baltimore for 3 years, the first 3 years of Jackson's career. But because Jackson doesn't talk to anybody, he doesn't have an agent to talk to the media and say what he's thinking. We don't know what he's thinking. So I don't know that the offensive coordinator hire is going to be a big factor. I think the threshold question is, what does he think about Jesse Minter? If he likes it, it should be fine. If he doesn't, it may not be fine.
So this kind of just, first off, Mike Florio, friend of the show, friend of the program, I don't think you hire Jesse Minter with the thoughts of, you know what, we're going to trade Lamar Jackson, or he's not a fan and he wants out. Because all of the conversations that were had was that Lamar was involved and he had input into who they were going to hire. So as much as I hear the point of this, and I don't know who wants to get, Brad, you can start with this next. I don't see where this goes because, again, the Ravens and Bisciotti, they want Lamar to be their franchise quarterback. Why on earth then would you hire a coach that Lamar's not going to be okay with? It just doesn't seem like that adds up to me at all. And nor would the Ravens ever really entertain that unless Lamar from the start doesn't want to be here.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me either. All respect to Mike Florio. Obviously, he's been on the show. We had great conversations with him when he was here. And this is a huge Mike Florio said it. Lamar Jackson doesn't have an agent to be able to speak on his behalf. So everybody's left to wonder and cook up stories to write about that then get clicks and give us reasons to have conversations about. That's literally all this is, in my opinion. If Lamar Jackson wants to uproot his career and go somewhere else, he's not going to go to the Dolphins, which is a dumpster fire of an organization, at least right now. And there's no telling what it's going to look like 2 years from now. $99 million, taken off the books or else. It doesn't matter. The Raiders also another dumpster fire. So where does Lamar Jackson go? I mean, there's a standard in Baltimore that he knows that exists. And is he really going to go somewhere else and take a chance on the back half of his career, hoping that he'll get somewhere with a new regime that maybe has starting to get realigned? No, it makes no sense. And so to me, this is an absolutely insane story. I don't know why people keep kicking the tires on it. It just, like I said, it's for clicks, in my opinion.
Zach, throwing to you now. I mean, look, everyone's saying the one other rumor tied to that is, the Raiders trade the number 1 overall pick and Max Crosby. Who says no? The Ravens say no.
Yeah.
Like Lamar, I think that people think that you're going to find one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. People don't want to have that conversation. Lamar's going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks that has ever played the game, whether he wins a Super Bowl or not. Now, you hope he does, but I think people devalue how hard it is to find someone like Lamar. And the Ravens as an organization have been very strategic, very structured, and aren't going to be foolish when it comes to these types of conversations.
I mean, Steve Bisciotti blatantly said in his press conference that either Lamar Jackson signs a contract extension this year or they turn part of his money into void years. He's not going anywhere. Now, in 2 years from now, we could maybe have a different conversation if things aren't going well with Minter, something like that. If maybe the team's going to then 2 years from now is 2 years from now. There's no reason to move on from Lamar Jackson right now. And if your two opportunities are the Raiders and Dolphins, one, how about Florio point out, like Dolphins can't afford with Tua's contract to have two quarterbacks making that much money. Like that's physically impossible. So now who's taking Tua's contract?
Right.
Nobody. Okay, so the Raiders, are they giving up the number one overall pick in a team that really around him, like you're giving up the number one overall pick without a team that Lamar would make them good, but Lamar probably with that roster, you're hoping at best 9 wins, and that's not winning the West. I mean, that you're still the fourth team there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so does that make sense for the Raiders? Not really. And they're going to be like, okay, yeah, we'll give the first overall pick. That's where it starts. Like it starts with the first overall pick. Then we're talking other picks, players, like other things going into that. It doesn't make sense for the Raiders or Lamar to do that unless the Raiders are playing a 5-year plan with Lamar Jackson, before they get good in year 3. We're officially in the offseason. Every offseason, Lamar gets traded somewhere or hypothetically demands something, or the Ravens and Lamar just hate each other suddenly. It's every rumor. And it's because kind of what Mike Florio said, I think it is funny, like that his final thing was like, yeah, Lamar doesn't have an agent, so we don't know how he thinks. Maybe he likes this. Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah, so let's make something up.
So what are we doing? Like, there's nothing there.
There's so much other drama going around in the NFL that you could come up with any other story that you want to cook up to talk about, and then this is the one that you land on. I just don't get it.
I mean, I'm hearing that if Patrick Mahomes doesn't like Andy Reid, he might want to leave Kansas City. But if he does like Andy Reid, he's going to want to stay. There's my story.
Yeah.
Breaking on the Ryan Ripken show.
Yeah, breaking. Above all, it's the place where it makes the most sense. I think that's self-explanatory. The Ravens have proven that they've had a track record. Whether people have agreed with what's happened the last X amount of years, sure. But the Ravens, for the better part of 3 decades, have been a contending playoff to Super Bowl caliber team. And right now in the AFC, even to this point, if the Ravens hit with the hires that we expect them to do, and they have the personnel and they're able to reshape, there is zero reason that the Ravens don't have the same expectations going into next year. And you can't say that about going to the Raiders, going to the Dolphins, or anywhere else. And you know what? Every one of those teams, outside of maybe a couple teams, would say, yeah, we're going to stick with the quarterback that we have. There's a few. I shouldn't say a couple. There's a few. There's going to say, hey, this is our franchise guy. We believe in him. The majority of the league would be like, oh, yeah, we'll take Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Because he's that damn good. He's that damn good. He's going to be a Raven. Now, the bigger questions this going to be is who is going to be the offensive coordinator and who's going to join him on this journey here as Baltimore tries to get back to the Super Bowl for the first time in now will be going into next year, 15 years. So if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button, Ryan Ripken Show.